Greetings, vinyl community, and welcome to a special disease-ridden episode of VC Friday. Yes, I've been miserably sick this past week, so if there are an extra number of edits in this video, it's because I have to pause a lot for coughing fits. But before I get to the records, I do want to acknowledge a wonderful parcel I received from Mr. Bret Harold Hart, who is a musician well known to me, and he felt that I should have more of the material, or more of his material in my collection than I already did. So he very generously sent me this amazing box of goodies. And I first have to show the box itself because it was wonderfully customized with this artwork that I think very accurately forewarns the recipient of what's in store. And there's just a whole bunch of CDs included. There are these two ear sculpture CDs, the collaborations with Derek Higgins, great kind of father figure of the VC, I think. He'll probably snicker when he hears that if he's watching this. Collaboration with Tom Fergus, I Borrowed Your Axe, two volumes titled Mount Rushmore, Volumes 1 and 2, Some Songs Will Fight You, a collaboration with Jerry King, right there, Oblique Observations, a little poster for the great Moonmen CDs, and to top it all off, this amazing little bundle. I think the bundle overall is called Tick Treatment. It's got a CD, Tick Treatment, and another CD, Save Room for Pie, and a bunch of little artworks and memorabilia and surreal items, and it's all bundled in this little cloth packet with a stenciled tick on it. So if you are into parasitic arachnids, this is the CD for you. So thank you, Bret. And now, onto the vinyl. The first record I want to talk about is one that's been high on my want list for a long time, and I'm just so happy that I finally added this to my collection. It is Volume 1 of Night of the Cookers by Freddy Hubbard, with Lee Morgan joining Freddy Hubbard on trumpet, James Spaulding on alto sax and flute, very underrated and overlooked player, Harold Mayburn Jr. on piano, Larry Ridley on bass, Pete LaRocca on drums, and Big Black on the congas. And when they say Night of the Cookers, they give you a strong clue to what this music is about, because this stuff cooks. These men are all playing their respective asses off. And as I said, I've had this in my scope for a long time, because for quite some time I have had Volume 2. And when I see this in the stores, I tend to see Volume 2. But this one, not so much. Saw this at the last couple of record shows at KUSF, and oh boy, the price being asked for an original copy of this was very high. But I got this, and this is an early pressing. It's got the original label from the first pressing, but it does not have the so-called ear in the dead wax. It has the Van Gelder stamp, but not the plastylite ear. So it wouldn't be a very first pressing, but since they're still using the label without the Division of Liberty slogan, it must be that they were just using the old stock of labels, which they certainly did. At Blue Note, it does have the Liberty inner sleeve. And both volumes have the same liner notes. They've got the Volume 1 track listing here, which is only 2 tracks, and the Volume 2-track listing, which is only 2 tracks. Yes, there's 1 track per side on each volume. So these are long, high-energy jams. So I'll get back to the jazz in a few minutes, but next I want to talk about rats. Specifically, the debut album from the Stranglers, or the Stranglers 4, or the album that's sort of called 4, Roman numeral 4, or maybe called IV, maybe standing for intravenous, maybe referring to some sort of illicit substances. Who knows? They just put it there to be contrary, to make it look like their 4th album when it's their debut, or to make it look like the band was called the Stranglers 4, like the 4 Freshmen, or the Classics 4, or one of those. Anyway, this is Rattus norvegicus, and the title character is right there on the back. Rattus norvegicus is the scientific name for the common brown rat. Also known as, well, it literally translates as the Norwegian rat. She showed me her room, that's where it's at, Norwegian rat. And we've got our little Norwegian rat there looking all furtive and slinky, but, you know, the brown rat is not just found in Norway, the brown rat is found worldwide. And the domesticated rat, the white rats used in scientific research, and the white rats and hooded rats and so on that are sold in the pet trade, those are breeds of the Rattus norvegicus. And anyone who, as a boy, had a little pet rat like my Ralph knows that they are sweet and wonderful little friends. And they're not the least bit scary. So Stranglers, you missed, because I'm not afraid of no rats. My mother, when she was teaching school, had hooded rats in her classroom. They were Hans and Fritz. So on to the record itself. This is the recent Record Store Day Black Friday edition of Rattus norvegicus, pressed on lovely green vinyl. And of course, the Stranglers came out swinging, pretty much literally, with a statement of intent. Because when your first album, first song, first lyric is, "Someday I'm gonna smack your face," you know that these guys are not gentle, hippie, welcoming friends. These guys are openly hostile. There is a current of misogyny and violence and brutality and nihilism and all that good stuff running through the lyrics. And of course, it's all a pose. They're all a bunch of softies. Musically, of course, the Stranglers were associated with the early punk movement, but it's pretty generally conceded that they were never really punk. They kind of had their roots back in the pub rock movement. The tunes are all very snappy, very melodic, while at the same time very heavy and aggressive sounding, thanks especially to Jean-Jacques Brunel's enormous bass tone, just a huge growling bass sound that I think owes a debt to Chris Squire. This is by no means prog rock, but you know that they've listened to it. Certainly Dave Greenfield did, although his contribution gives a very strong flavor of the Doors. He has the same kind of thin keyboard sound that you get from Ray Manzarek with the Doors. You also get a hint of psychedelia from Hugh Cornwell's guitar, and Jet Black nails it all down with his very rudimentary but very loud and aggressive drumming. The vocals also very aggressive and punky, very loutish expression, and it's just Strangler music. It's Stranglerific.
Down a global udder with a hush and sweet and butter. There's a million of them selling, and the buyers can be found. They're just hanging around. They're just hanging around. Cash told his mother, Cash told him not to bother, 'cause he's alright in the city, 'cause he's high above the crowd. He's just hanging around. He's just hanging around. He's just...
Oh man, I'm really fading here, but just two more records to go, starting with this one. Oh, the Freddy Hubbard, The Night of the Cookers, was that was a Discogs purchase. All the rest of these are purchased locally at Vinyl Solution Records, and this one is a compilation from Italy, I Giganti di Jazz, which is a series of 100 jazz compilations, and this one really caught my eye due to the personnel. This is volume 6, and features Gato Barbieri and Don Cherry, listed as separate attractions, but they're actually from a collaboration. It's actually from an album released under Don Cherry's name, and Albert Eiler and John Handy. Gatefold album with liner notes in Italian, which I wouldn't even attempt to go through, given that in the credits for the tracks that they have, and it's not that difficult. There are only 3 artists, really, since the Barbieri and Cherry are the same, and just, 4 tracks, because the John Handy is a full side. And every one of these credits is wrong. It's full of misinformation. List of players is wrong. Titles are wrong. It starts off with the Don Cherry tracks. The first one is listed as OCDC, and that's actually 2 tracks combined, and the second track is Third Movement. These are actually movements 1, 2, and 3 from the album Togetherness by Don Cherry. So we've got Don Cherry on cornet, Gato Barbieri on tenor sax, Carl Berger on vibes, Jean-Francois Jenny Clark on bass, and the drummer is Aldo Romano, not Jacques Tolot, who is listed on this album. And although the original album is credited to Don Cherry as a leader, and he is the composer, Gato Barbieri is obviously co-leading instrumentally, and in fact, so is Carl Berger on vibes. It's almost like the 3 of them are a shared front line, with just the bass and drums as the support. The final track on side 1 is Albert Eiler's Ghosts. The recording is from Paris, from the Salle Pleyel on November 13th, 1966. and was released in 1982 on the Hat Hut label originally. It is Albert Ayler on tenor sax, Don Ayler on trumpet, Michael Sampson on violin, William Folwell on bass, Beaver Harris on drums, and those people are all misidentified in the liner notes here. They've got completely wrong notable people. They got Sonny Murray listed, Henry Grimes, Eddie Henderson. No, they're not playing on this. So that's side one. Side two is devoted to a 26.5-minute performance, If Only We Knew, by the John Handy Quintet, consisting of John Handy on alto, Michael White on violin, Jerry Hahn on guitar, Don Thompson on bass, and Terry Clark on drums. Again, all misidentified in the liner notes here. And once again, a live recording from 1965 at the Monterey Jazz Festival in September of 1965, and originally released on the Columbia label in 66. So these are all tracks from 65, 66. And finally, from I Giganti del Jazz, or The Giants of Jazz, Volume 6, we go to Jazz, Volume 7. I was able to score a beautiful, still sealed copy of this Folkways compilation. I think the album was originally released in 1958. I think this must be an 80s pressing. It had a Tower Records price sticker on it, and the sticker contained a code on top that included the number 82, so I'm guessing that's the date it was stocked in 1982, or maybe it was just a random code, I don't know. But this is very early jazz. This is from the 20s and early 30s, and features jazz from New York. On one side, well, let's get out the notes, because this is Folkways, and they give you a very scholarly little pamphlet with descriptive liner notes, and presumably they're more careful about their credits and their knowledge than that Curcio label from Italy is. So side one is White Assimilations and Adaptations. And this features the likes of the wonderfully named Myth Mole, Frankie Trumbauer with Bix Beiderbecke playing with him. Bing Crosby does a vocal on that track. We've got the Louisiana Rhythm Kings with Red Nichols and Jack Teagarden. Beale Street Blues by Lan Venuti All-Star Orchestra with Charlie Teagarden and Jack Teagarden and Benny Goodman, Eddie Lang on guitar, Joe Venuti on violin. So definitely all stars, as it states on the label. Side two of the album is Negro Combinations. And again, we have some very, very important names from jazz history on here. Fletcher Henderson and his orchestra, Clarence Williams Blue 5 with Louis Armstrong, Duke Ellington and his Kentucky Club Orchestra from 1926, James P. Johnson doing solo piano, Louis Armstrong and his own orchestra from 1929. So while the album has a copyright date of 1958, the info sheet actually has a copyright date of 1953. So I think it might have been released originally as two 10-inch discs or separately the two sides, because they do have the two different concepts. You do hear the kind of two formative streams going on between the two sides, with the more Dixieland basis on the white side and the very strong co-option of the blues on that side, and on the black side, work that's a little bit more creative and a little bit more original. On the white side, there is some pretty embarrassing, when the vocals come in, aping of black vocal patterns. And yeah, that hasn't aged well, but Bing Crosby, what were you thinking? So that's quite enough of that. Thanks very much for watching. Want to say a heartfelt farewell to Mr. Bobby Weir. And I have no idea what I'll have to talk about next week, but we shall see. So until then, everybody please try to be kind to one another. Bye-bye for now.
Winter, now tell me why summer's fade, roses die. The answer came, the wind and play.